American Airlines 1.
The seatbelt sign is on. Please be seated and fasten your seatbelt.
Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up. Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Ladies and gentlemen, front flight deck, we'd like to add a welcome board. Anticipate possibly some light bumps or some choppy airs. We climb out as a precaution, keep our flight attendants seated for a few minutes. Make sure we know, what that ride's going to be like before they get up.
So connected and bypass.
Also appreciate it
Release
if everyone
parking
would
brake.
remain in our seats during that time. Thanks for being with us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boarding door is now closed. Flight attendants prepare doors for departure. Cross check, fare price staff, stand by for all call.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
I would have been with you earlier, but I had a major problem trying to download that one library, CDS, but I've eventually done it.
All right. George, good morning. Good morning, everybody else on the stream. This is a rather short flight. I've been talking to myself. I did not realize that I was muted. So let's start from the beginning. I have a business meeting at 12, which I cannot move. It's rather important. So I need to be on the ground shortly after 11 to give me enough time to drive there and get ready for the meeting. So if possible, I'll come back a little bit later and I will do a JAR Design 330, the Airbus A330 flight. There's been numerous requests to see that one in action again, so I'll hopefully make up for the short abrupt flight of this morning a little bit later on if time allows. So that's where we're at this point in time. But welcome everybody, thank you for joining me. Please comment, do what you need to do in the comments, and let's enjoy what we have today together. So John, did you get it right to do that download? Did it work?
Yes, sir. After about 15 attempts, it was
Okay.
doing about 7%, 8%, and then bombed out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's not good when that happens.
But it's done. It's checked. It works. So fine.
100%. Good, good. Okay, you're live on air, by the way, just to remind you. And
Good morning, everybody.
we have a couple of viewers already.
Well, if this flight's anything like the flight that we had with David last night, the three of us, incredible.
Oh, it was stunning. It was good.
And of course, it was a learning curve for both David and myself.
Yeah. There we go, 25, so let's get cracking. South Africa is so small compared to the US. If I zoom out far enough, you'll get the whole country on this map in one go.
Ah, Johannesburg to Durban. Nice flight.
Right. Let's do number 1. Sorry, my attention was taken up by my lovely air hostess. So no complaints there, but I had to do what I had to do.
Hope she brought you coffee.
No, I had to help myself. She just comes to ask for money. She had to get some money for some petrol, so...
I don't believe that's all she asked you for.
Well, in the last 10 seconds, that was.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
No, you're right. That's not all, but in the last 10 seconds, that was.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
You wouldn't swap her for anything.
Of course not. No, my wife's special. Really special. I'm very happy. Right, engines going. Ignition.
Things are going quiet.
Hey, good morning, George.
Good morning to you, Nick.
Yeah, I need to concentrate at some point in time, not to make myself look silly on stream, I suppose.
Yeah, we got stereo cockpit.
How is Dean, by the way?
Haven't spoken for a while. Let's concentrate on the flying first.
Will do. Avia Games, bonjour, good morning, nice to have you on stream.
is secured. Have a good flight.
I am very well. How are you doing? Hey Mats, good morning. Well, if I greet you in Afrikaans, it would sound something like this. Goeiemôre Mats, welkom by die stroom. Avian, no, I'm not flying online. I don't have time this morning to worry about ATC and possible supervisors and all these other things. I do fly on IVAO sometimes, and I also use VATSIM and join FS if it's a private session. So I'm pretty much set for most networks. There's one or two that I avoid. Right, terrain on, all of these things on, and we can clear our screen in case of emergency. Trim set, squawk code needs to change. That's VFR in South Africa, so let's just change that to something else and get the clock going.
Approach at 03 left. On runway 03 left.
I'm glad it's a bit cooler in Joburg today. It was a bit hot in the last couple of days. Not nice. Not too nice.
80 knots.
Might warm up later.
Yeah, it probably will. Hopefully get some rain after 3 in the afternoon as well. Oh, this wind is pushing.
E1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up. Come on, day. There we go. Gear off and RTO off. Oh wow. Now we're in the milk.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah. After last week's overdose of the Zibo, I did a couple of flights in the Airbus, and the A320, and I really loved it. But I must say, I am so happy to be back in this cockpit. This is home.
It looks like contrails.
Yeah. Look at the contrails depend on the weather. It's not, modeled on purpose.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But I just wish I could get it white instead of that diesel black. It's like we're flying with diesel. Anyway. George, you were saying?
It looks...
Sorry, you broke up. Try again.
Sorry, yeah, it looks like home.
Yeah.
Looks
like, feels like, everything's fine.
Flaps.
Long time up, uncle. Remember, you're seeing a delayed video.
Oh, jeez.
Altimeter, above transition altitude.
Oh, I just love my clouds. John, you say your clouds look better. Sorry, George?
No, I was just going to say they look so real.
Yeah.
Clouds, fantastic. So pleased with it.
Okay.
Is this one of your VA flights?
Yes, yeah, for British Airways, Virtual. They force you to do one flight per month, and I was just lucky that I did it in time, because if you don't do one flight at a time, they suspend you and then they kick you off the roster completely. Then you have to write your exam to get back in, and most of the times they don't even want you back. So, or some of the times, I don't know, can't recall the rules exactly, but they're very sticky. Hallo Jaco, goeiemôre. Welkom my maat.
While you are seated, please keep your seatbelt fastened and visible to the crew when the seatbelt sign is on, as turbulence can happen unexpectedly.
There was the famous update
If you open
of
an
the
overhead
weather.
compartment, use caution.
One day
As
explain
carry-on
also
items
that
may
out.
have shifted during takeoff.
Yeah, at the rate things are going, moving ahead, X-Plane's got a lot of catch up to.
Yeah.
We seem to have come a million miles forward though in the last 12 months.
Absolutely. Leaps and bounds.
sorry I wasn't able to make last Saturday's streams, but I watched them back online, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. They go really great. Really.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I must say I had very good feedback from the viewers and from various other sources who obviously looked at the videos. So I'm quite pleased. I really enjoy it.
1,000 to go.
Yeah, I read the comments as well. There were very good comments there. I thought they were very inspiring.
Yeah. A lot of guys contacted me on Messenger privately as well, you know, with also more questions and things. So, yeah, I mean, as long as the guys find benefited, I'll keep doing it.
You're never going to be short of that.
Yeah, sure.
I agree with you, John.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we're leveled to our initial cruise altitude, expecting a fairly smooth ride today. We have the seatbelt sign turned off, and while you're seated, we do ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened about you at all times in case we encounter unexpected bumpy air. And we do thank you for flying with us on American.
American announcement on the British Airways. That's cool.
I love it.
Alright, so what is our status? Let's have a look, see. 152 nautical miles. Hang on. Yeah, that's fine.
About 20 minutes before TDC.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying the calculation is roughly 7 miles a minute?
I don't have a calculator. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and calculate it right now. It's possible. If you've done it, yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and figure that one out. Too early in the morning, John.
You any ideas, George?
I'd have to take a calculator to work it out, but it looks like around about that. You should take a look at the...
Shadow. By the way, this is the new PBR textures that Enrico Del Bono made for us. So, if you guys are wondering, it looks a bit different. You get a different hue and you get different saturation in it. That's about all I can see. It looks more reddish. You know, it's got like a hint of red, brown in it than the normal ones have.
Lucky you, I'm colourblind. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I saw that there was some new PBR that had been put out there. I didn't know it was for. Is there a download? Is it down?
Yeah, you download it from the org. It's a early beta, so there could be bugs. We all know that, but yeah, it works. I don't have issues. Look, my aircraft is kind of upgraded, right? My PFD over here is not the Zibo PFD. This is also an enhanced one. And also the fonts on my FMC is the actual Boeing fonts. It's not the Zibo fonts. So, also upgraded. And then I've got this texture running here. I'm not gonna go into all this extra stuff right now. The bare minimum that we need to do is just the transition flight levels, so we'll stick to that for now. All part of the basic checklist. If you guys have downloaded or need to download it, the link is in the description below the video. There's a link to my private hangar. Go, feel free, browse through, take what you need. All the checklists are in there, my views for my X camera, as well as this new C list that David Westhuizen created. It's this little thing
Passing
over here.
10,000 feet.
What do you think about
Landing
that,
lights
George,
off.
the new sea list?
Engine start switches.
Oh, I think it's fantastic, Dave.
At
John,
cruise
it's
altitude,
fantastic. I mean, I
plane
really,
level off speech.
if you want to go through the whole thing, wow,
Seat
man.
belts.
It is a bit of time consuming, but like
Off/auto.
was said earlier on, use it just for your first.
Oh, use it until you get familiar with the aircraft. It's a great learning tool. Now, the one that David is working on now is going to be even better for training. It's going to be slightly more advanced, couple of extra things in there, and hopefully, we can do the link up with the pictures and those things. But I'm not going to talk on his behalf. He can come and tell us what he's doing when he's ready. So we'll see how it all pans out.
Man's a genius.
Nico, I've got to compliment you.
For what?
Your streams have come forward in leaps and bounds from your earlier streams that I watched. It's unbelievable. It's just like sitting as if I want to sitting in a jump seat watching your.
Excellent. Well, thank you, much appreciated, George. Thank you for the kind words. To start streaming is actually very daunting. It's not an easy thing. There's a lot of confidence issues. There's a lot of material issues, like what are you going to do? What are you going to say? Will people like it? There's so many things that go through your mind. It's not easy. And if anybody is watching and thinking of starting, you'll get there. You'll know what I mean. It's something that is scary, but if you tackle it by the horns, just grab the horns and ride it out, it is very rewarding. I must say, I love it. This is become so much part of my life now. I really love it.
It's all about the knowledge of all and confidence.
Yeah. And that comes with studying, and it comes with practice, and it comes with time. And obviously with hearing the criticism as well as the compliments, and keeping the good disregarding the bad. That was another trick to work through. But when the Zibo team look at the videos and they compliment me and I get public recognition from them, that also changed a lot in my life, that the guys actually like what I'm doing. So it's good.
Say it as it is.
Yeah. David actually, he's come a long way with me, and he sometimes acts as my conscience as well. And he says to me, I must just try and stay on topic when I start speaking on the streams, because sometimes I talk way off topic and people don't come here to listen to all the other stories. So that was the last thing he said to me the other day. So I'll try and stay on topic. But I love talking about whatever, whatever happens. So.
The cruise can be a long flight.
Yeah, that is the thing, and it gets boring. And if the viewers don't talk with you and don't interact with you, no offense, guys, I sometimes run out of things to say, because in my mind, I've basically done almost everything I need to do here. And if somebody doesn't ask me a question or we don't start talking about something, sorry about my kids talking in the background now. It does get boring, you know, and that's when you usually get up and go make a cup of coffee and come back, and then you thought of something else to say.
It's the perfect time to sort out things that you're worried about or you're concerned about or not sure about.
Exactly, exactly. So all in all, what I'm saying is I like being me, myself, you know, being myself on the streams, and I like it that people have value in it. If I look at the user count here, it comes and goes. At one point in time we were more than 10 people. In fact, we were 12 at one point. Now we're only 6 that I can see here. So people come and go. They get different value at different times. And what I've also found is, especially in the cruise, a lot of guys walk away. They probably also go find something to do, and then they obviously look at the little banner at the top there and they see how far I need to go. And you'll find usually, you know, in the star section, once we do that arrival or that starts, the guys tend to come back all in a big mass, you know, or run back. So it's all fair, it's all nice. That's anyway where all the excitement happens. If it's a training exercise, you know, where we're giving instruction, I was amazed the other day. We had 19 guys for 4 hours and 10 minutes on that training video. It was amazing to see that they never left. They all stick together. We all went through it 4 hours and 10 minutes. I mean, if that isn't special, what's special?
Oh, it was special.
Yeah.
We did top the 20s. I think we went into 20, 21, 22.
Sure. But the 19, I kept my eye on that. It never went below 19 for that whole 4 hours, 10 minutes. Right, what did we not get? Sorry, George.
Sorry, I didn't get. With regards to that 4 hour stream that you did from San Diego to Phoenix, the thing is, what about the number of people that weren't able to see the stream but saw the video? Like, for example, for myself, I watched that for 4 hours and 10 minutes. I watched that whole thing in awesome. My time. So if you take a look at that, you take that 19 people, how many more were there after?
Well, I'll tell you now. I can obviously see the analytics that Google gives me here from YouTube. Being the owners of YouTube, they have done a stellar job behind the scenes. I'm just waiting for the screen to load up here. Let's go to videos.
Whilst you're looking for that, what's the membership like, Nico? Has that gone up recently?
Oh, tremendously. On the Zibo group, I think we grew another 150 in the last week of members. You know, so.
And your subscription to your channel, Nick?
I'll give you the stats now. Okay, so in terms of the Zibo flight training basics behind the scenes, and this is also fascinating, it doesn't give the same analytics readings as you know, in front of what you guys can see and what I can see behind the scenes. So there's a bit of a discrepancy, but there's more than 770 views on that 410 4 hours and 10 minutes video, George. 770 plus.
George has made a point there.
Yeah, so hey Sergey, thanks for subscribing. Nice to have you on board. Another subscriber coming on there, thank you. Let's quickly have a look. Let's just go back here.
I see you got 615.
Yeah. Just waiting for the screen to refresh. Well, yeah, with Sergey now, that's 615, correct. So thank you guys, thank you very much for making it worthwhile for me as well. It really helps to see that there is interest. Alright, it's just gone up to 616, George. If you hit Control and F5 on your browser, you should see a new reading now. Right, in terms of the Zibo group, let's quickly look. 4,342 members.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And that 300... Sorry, John. Yeah, sorry, John. The 342, I think, was within the last 2 weeks. It's incredible the growth we had the last couple of weeks. I've been advertising via Cloudy Box's stream, and he's been talking about it, so there's been a lot of cross-pollination. I've also made a couple of posts getting guys to go and see the actual test pilot, the Zibo guy testing the 737 MAX 8 and the 700 and the things that are coming. So I've been spreading the word one way, and he's been doing it the other way for me. And he, you know, he's been on my stream here as well on YouTube and on Twitch. You know, so there's a lot of cross-pollination happening between me and the team right now, which really helps for Facebook and for streaming.
/ATIS/veterans navigational charts.
Yeah. Oh, twice, both streams. He's probably sitting there giggling, looking at this right now. Anyway, thanks, Cloudy. He's a great guy. Excellent person. Pino, yes, I can show you the configuration on the tablet, and I just want to check how far we are from top of descent. That should be fine. So let's quickly go into my tablet configuration. Alright, so you can obviously pause the video afterwards. What I have done, but I need to update it, is I've put the screenshots of my tablet settings into my private hangar. So if you look at the video, just below the video, there's show more. Click on that, go into the description of the video. There's a hyperlink, a tiny URL that will point you to my private hangar with all my goodies, all my setup, all the configs, all the screenshots, all the files that I use, all the programs that I wrote. Everything is in there, including the checklists. So feel free to browse there. But what I'm going to do is I'll just leave this page on screen for a couple of seconds, then move to the next one. DG Will, good morning. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Sergey, sorry I missed your question there. Sergey, the scenery for Johannesburg and for King Shaka is made by NMG. I'll see if I can get a link for you quickly. It's payware, but for what we have a lack of, that really compensates. So let's quickly see.
Forgetting ortho.
Yeah. Also the ortho, yeah, John is correct. I'm also using ortho for XP. We'll go outside just now, you can have a look. So I created my own ortho, obviously. Where's the stream?
Nika, I was looking in your hangar, I think it was yesterday, and I just noticed that I was going through your tablet actually, to be honest, and yeah, there is a couple of updates that are not that are on the present tablet that are not on your WhatsApp.
Absolutely. So this is the third screen now, George. I'll just quickly scroll through them, leave them a couple of seconds for the guys to be able to pause, take note. Don't pause now, guys. You can come pause afterwards. So what I'll do after I come back from my business meeting, I'll actually update this in my hangar as well. And that's it. That's about the settings. In the PA system, I've got announcement sets. I'm gonna set this to auto for this bird. Come on. Well, I must put it on 1 so we can hear Cloudy Box speak. So let's just put it on auto. And guys, then the last thing, when you set this, please go to second page and please save your configuration. If you do not save the configuration, you'll have to redo it every time you fly. Righto, let's quickly see how far we're at. Top of descent. Yeah, let's quickly do an orbit. So what you guys see in the background there, that's also for XP, and that's something that I make on my own, and you guys can follow some of the tutorials and make your own ones. It's really nice having a lifelike scenery below you.
Sadly, Ortho is running a little bit on the slow side.
Why?
On downloads.
Oh, on downloads. Yeah, it takes some time.
I think it's probably demand, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of information it needs to pull. You know, it's not just. Where is this stupid silly thing now? It looks like my 3J FPS is bombed out. No wonder I'm getting such bad FPS now. 3J FPS is just gone. I'll fix that afterwards as well. I can see blurries and things which I shouldn't see, and I know last night when I was fiddling at that was one of the things I said. So
when we started doing all the downloads with Ortho, it was very fast, but the last week or so it's really slowed down.
Yeah, I think the guys also realized that there's a lot of guys pulling the information, so they start throttling it.
Yeah, that was my point. Demand.
Yeah.
Two complete days for South Africa.
Well, mine took about a week to do, so your internet is much faster than mine. And it's not that, I mean, you've got a 50 meg line, I've got a 50 meg line. It's a question of South Africa. You know, the kind of feed we get from those servers overseas is just not the same throughput as what you have being overseas. So. There's the top of descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck here, we are on our descent. Seatbelt sounds going to be back up for our rattle. If you're up and about, please turn your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again. Hope you have a nice week. Have you on here very shortly.
Alright, so that happened. Let's see. We're 33 minutes into this flight. Our conformance is 55 minutes, so let's see. Better get to move on.
Our meeting midday.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long the meeting will be, so I can't give a time for the next stream and if there will be another one, but I'm dying to do another one. Sorry, George?
Sorry about that. What I wanted to say to you, Nico, is that in the Phoenix flight, when you were doing your approach, you actually came in and you were doing like 300 knots at one stage, and I thought, and yet meanwhile your marker had pulled it right down to like nearly 250 knots, but you were still coming in at 300 knots. And I didn't know if that was okay, or did you have to put drag in, or did you just leave it and let it just come straight in and bring it and sort itself out?
Yeah, the basic rule is you do not pull the lever of shame, which is what the real guys call it. You don't pull the speed brake unless you really have to. And that is valid for anything above 10,000. Below 10,000 feet, that thing becomes like a weapon. You need to use it when you need to use it. But above 10,000, you generally don't really use it, unless there's a reason for using it. Even now, you can see on my stream, I'm at 289. I'm almost, 10 knots or 5 knots faster than I'm supposed to be. I'm just leaving it, even though the FMC, it didn't even know now. But it doesn't matter. What matters to me is that I stay on the ball there, you know, that I'm on the actual glide path, that does not change. Alright, and then what needs to happen is you obviously need to use common sense. You are not allowed to overspeed. The whole issue of where this pilot of SAA has now come into the news in the last couple of days is the incident happened where his aircraft went into an overspeed, and the moment that happened there was an incident report, and then it came out what he did and didn't do. So it's a serious offense if you let your aircraft go into overspeed. You should not do it, because you can lose your wings and all kinds of other crap if you go too far. You know, it's a extinction level event if you let it go too far. So use your common sense, but there's no danger unless you hit the overspeed.
From a company point of view, there's a fuel issue as well by using the brake too often.
Yes, of course. The moment you start using the brake and you're not in the arm position like you have on the EFD right now, when those engines spool up to compensate for the drag that you are creating manually, it's definitely a cost issue.
The reason for my question on that is because one other pilot I see uses speed brake quite often, just to be able to keep the either to keep his profile and also to make to bring him down to within the speed limit.
Well, I don't think it's wrong, but I think there's a misconception on his side. I think he's trying to be too politically correct, if I can use a stupid term like that. He's trying to be too correct, and he's overkilling the situation, you know, over drilling it, whatever you want to call it. There is no need to use the speed brake above 10,000 as long as you don't overspeed, really. That reminds me, I mean, if you start looking at how he sets up his aircraft, is his weight actually properly done? Did he actually make sure that it's properly done? You know, is his speeds and the FMC set up correctly? There are a lot of things that, you know, he could be doing to himself, forcing himself to do that. So just give me a second, hold on, my wife just wants to... Okay, going back live, we live on stream again. George, if you actually look at the PFD, look how nicely the Zibo actually works out this VNAV. It's just reached it now, it's obviously slowing down for the profile, but if you have set up your X-plane correctly, if you have set up the FMC correctly, if you've set up the whole flight correctly, then you can fly it like me. If you don't do it, obviously you have to compensate. So I can't say what he did or did not wrong or what, but I think that guy that you're referring to is just, you know, overbearing, overzealous. Remember, Twixter, who writes the flight model, is a real world pilot and instructor, and I mean, if you, I've seen his resume. It is mind-blowing. It is out of this world. I cannot tell you guys how qualified this guy is that writes the flight model. It is mind-blowing. And I speak to him a lot, and he's a great guy, very humble. You know, to have achieved what he has done in the real world and be as humble and as wonderful, you know, really also testifies to what a great guy he really is. And I mean, that oak, he told me in the week, he spent over 100 hours already, and this was, I think, Wednesday we spoke. By Wednesday, he had already spent 100 hours on fixing version 3.34 and getting it tuned according to the Boeing specs, so that when it gets released, we get the best of what is capable in X-Plane. Now, X-Plane has got limits. X-Plane is seriously hampering the development of a true, proper Zibo, because they've got to continuously find creative ways of making this thing that is not made to do something, you know. And it's incredible to listen to these guys. Yeah, you guys have no idea the amount of work and effort that goes in here. I think you can imagine it. But you know, fighting against limits on the one side, tuning it on the other side, these hundreds and thousands of hours that the guys spend. And what annoys me is then you read somebody says, oh no, LNAV, VNAV doesn't work, and you go, I wish I knew what you did.
And he's sharing all that knowledge with us.
For free.
The person I was talking about was a... Sorry there, Jared.
No, go.
The person I was talking about is also a real-world pilot.
Oh, he could be from, I don't know who he is, and please don't mention his name, but I mean, if he comes from a country where they've got good money and they don't care, let him enjoy himself. I don't care. We don't operate in the same sphere, obviously, so yeah, if he wants to do it, let him do it. In the flight simulator, I mean, come on, for Pete's sake, it's free. There's no cost, and if that's the way you want to fly it, by all means, enjoy it. You know, there's no right and wrong. I said this earlier, but I also gave you my reason why I don't do it,
which I think is very valid at the end of the day. Another thing is that the other situation is, well, what I even like the message I sent you, I find it very confusing. Not for me, but I'm talking about other people, because they watch person A or person B and person C, and all three of them have got different ways of what's them, and they say, you know, this is the way, or whatever the case is. But there is no this is the way. No. As long as you achieve what you need to achieve.
Yeah, the goal is the way. The goal is what you want to achieve, the end game. That's what's important. If I fly in the cockpit with Mango guys, and then I go and sit in the cockpit with Kalula guys, you've got SAA versus British Airways. The SOPs differ. Oops, pressed the wrong button. I hope it's going to pull back.
At the end of the day, you're only as good as the person that's taught you.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to do as you saw the other guy do it. Oh, now these gears are stuck. Let's bring them out fully and then retract them again. That looks freaky. Fortunately, we're so slow. When I talk, I like to use my hands, and as I was busy talking to you, my finger slipped and I pressed the button. Maybe go back to normal. Yeah, that's very important, and that's why I usually state in my streams, it's not about right and wrong. If you were taught differently, you were taught differently. But what is important is if you do not achieve the same goals as I do, then you seriously need to reevaluate how you were taught, because it's very possible that you were taught incorrectly. So if you get the same values at the end of the day, the same results, I don't mind. Enjoy yourself. It works. Why bother? I hope that makes sense. That I'm fair enough when I make a statement like that. I don't want to be unfair towards anybody.
No, I think you're 100% correct there, Nico, because bottom line, at the end of the day, what is happening is that you are achieving, and you're doing something, and what you're doing, you're achieving the correct results.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's nothing wrong with that particular situation. I think you're 100% correct. I think it's just different people, like you say, it's different SOPs, and I think it's the different SOPs cause different people to actually operate in different ways.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and then. Sorry, George, I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to just mention this on top of what you just said. Then you need to also realize there's an FAA way of doing things and a CAA way of doing things. And then you've got the Russian way of doing things and the Chinese way of doing things. So in aviation, you've got 4 ways of doing things at the foundation level already. Never mind just SOPs. You're talking about a totally different foundation. Then you get your SOPs on top of that. You understand? And I mean, there is plenty of room of different interpretations, misrepresentation and interpretations, and the list goes on. So again, it's not right or wrong, it's a question of what were you taught and are you achieving the end game. As easy as that. Oh, this is such a lazy approach, this one. The star takes forever.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
So long you could do your checks now.
Yeah. Well, there I've given my prepared to land speech. Everybody's happy. I might as well stow this one quickly, get it out of the picture. Alright. Everything seems fine. Well, not much we can do now. We'll just wait it out. I'll start the slowdown before we get to the deceleration point, because otherwise we're going to get in a situation where we're just too fast.
I have to comment on your little your little action or your little quirk that you do when you do your minimums, and that is that, oh well, we'll just do that according to as mentioned.
Please repeat that last sentence.
When you're setting up your minimums,
yeah.
You always go along and you say, oh well, we'll have to just put in that extra 40 feet that has been mentioned beforehand.
Yeah. I don't always say that, but during the training, a lot of guys refer to flight deck to sim. Okay, so that was just me reminding them that is what you're supposed to do, and he said it first. You know, I don't want to take credit for something he said.
No, I hear that, but it's sort of like you know, we better just add it in as well.
Yeah. No, well, we better put it in as well. In the real world, it makes a difference. In the sim, it really actually doesn't make a difference. It's a nice to have.
But it's also nice to be able to the fact that you're recognizing somebody else.
Yeah, of course. And I tell you what, I've spoken to him in real world on Messenger now, text. He's actually a nice guy. We actually had a nice long conversation one day. Very, very nice guy.
He seems to be a very humble guy.
Yeah. Same cannot be said for his supporters. Some of those guys are cuckoo, eh? Yeah, some of them are dangerous people in my mind. But anyway. And this is actually how I got to speak with him. I actually went and told him that we banned one of his supporters off another stream because the out just went mental. He was just a nutcase. Alright, we're about to start thinking about the deceleration bit, so I might as well get some flaps in there. Right, so in this instance we're going to use the V-lock, and the moment we turn and the localizer becomes active together with our glide slope, we'll go to approach.
I noticed you didn't set your standby instruments to standard and to your present Q.
It's because the QNH on both standard and real world is 1013, so it's the same thing. That's why I left it.
Okay.
That's why. Alright, so now we can go on to approach.
To go.
So we're at 10 miles now. We'll give it another 1 or 2 miles, then we're gonna go flaps 15, gear down. So here's another thing. In theory, you're supposed to start using your flaps at 7 nautical miles. I've obviously done it a bit before that because I'm scared of an overspeed situation. So the rule is usually 7, 5 and 3. At 5 you do your flaps 15, gear down, and at 3 you need to be fully configured to land. But it just takes a little bit of weather and an ATC to throw the theory out the box. So you got to do what you got to do. But that's the theory.
It's easy to remember 753.
Yeah. But it's, in practice, it's not that easy to comply, because if you are just 5 nautical miles too fast, you're not going to make it. So you got to do what you got to do.
Be aware of your speed.
Yeah, that is true. But also remember, in real world, you've got 2 guys in the cockpit here. And the one's got one thing he does, the other one does another thing, and then they check each other. So it's not so easy when you put 2 people's workload on 1 guy in a simulator. Look at all the sugar cane down below, eh? Alright. Right, go around, altitude is 3000 as well. So, we have gear down, spoilers are armed, flaps 30. Everything seems to be fine.
Approaching 06.
Alright, now we just fly it in. Look at the wind. Take it off autopilot and then the wind starts playing.
Approaching minimums. 300. Minimums. 200.
Ah, that crosswind.
100.
But nasty.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Awesome.
Nice having it off high speed off ramp.
Oh yeah, hey, makes a world's difference. So in fact we can leave them on. Let's get the APU started. You can come off. Welcome to Durban, everybody. I hope you have brought your swimming costumes with and that you're going to enjoy the sun and the beach and the sea.
What sun? It's cloudy.
John, it's hot. I tell you what, this is the kind of weather where you burn the most, eh? And this is where you need SPF 50 sunscreen lotion. Otherwise, you're gonna look like a tomato at the end of this afternoon. This sun is harsh when the weather is like this, and the water is fantastic. It's a tropical area, so I mean you can imagine warm water in the sea. Awesome, awesome. It's fantastic.
And the reflection of that water also kills you.
Yeah.
You have to root my eye factor out then.
Yeah. A few years ago, we went to Durban, and we quickly learned the story of the tomato. I tell you, we ended up that evening at the pharmacy buying probably 5 bottles of some icing solution that you put on your skin. Ah, that was a lesson well learned. It won't happen again.
I only ever did that once. Fell asleep on the beach after doing a night shift.
Oh. Yeah, no, once is enough.
I got into a bath to try and cool down cold water. When I stood up, all the back of my legs were full of water.
Ow.
Was that in Spain?
Negative. It was in the UK when I was in the army. And I couldn't report it to anybody because it's a self-inflicted injury.
So you had to suffer quietly?
Absolutely.
Sorry, it's funny. Sorry, I'm laughing.
No, it's not. Not when you wear khaki
I know. That's why I'm laughing. Sorry. Sorry, John. Hey, Gaming Gamer. Good morning. How are you?
It wasn't flight again, Nico.
Please repeat that. Sorry.
Sorry, an awesome flight as usual, Nico.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to do a bit of a replay now again. Just need to watch the time. It's 10 past 11. I've got about 10 minutes to do replays and then I need to run. I probably won't spend 10 minutes on replay, but I need to go to that meeting.
Don't leave yourself that short.
Yeah. No, it's enough time if I do that. I obviously just need to finish this flight and make sure that it gets locked with British Airways. So that is done. Parking brake is on. Let's get rid of our engines. Pirate filed. Alright. That gives us 1 hour and 54 seconds. It was a bit less when I clicked the button, so we're in with about 5 minutes of the conformance there, which is fine. Perfect. Alright, let's go see what this looks like. Guys, if you're interested, the movement that you see in the camera, that's generated by XP Realistic. So if you ever see my videos, all the movement, the head movement and stuff comes from XP Realistic. Now this tower view is going to be slightly in the way. That's not nice. Oh man. So let's do it from this angle then. I'm gonna redo this one once I get my proper position because I'd like to take a couple of screenshots, so we'll see just now.
You see how the crosswind affects?
Yeah, no, that wind is real, eh? That wind is real. You can see the compensation. Sorry, John?
Back to sky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's made a world's difference in X-Plane. Big difference.
And you'll be late, sir.
Yeah, I need to run. Guys, thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure having you. If possible, I'll try another stream this afternoon, but I'm not promising. And I hope to see you guys next week, Saturday, or during the week. You can follow me on Twitch. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Drive safely.
Bye-bye.
Will do.